Good morning. My name is Esa, and I'll be attending University of Central Florida next year. My story begins 13 years ago when I started coming to Church of the Redeemer and spent my time with Mrs. Lambert in the 4-year-old room. From my very first visit, I felt welcome and I felt a sense of belonging here. These feelings grew in strength over the years as I progressed through my first communion, VBS, and Logos. I remember being so excited when I was finally old enough to be asked to be an acolyte. I asked my mom to sign me up every week. I just felt like I could not get enough time with these amazing people in the parish. For example, Father Chris, who was the youth minister at the time, Mrs. Ann Stevenson Moe, Mrs. Lambert, Mrs. Bodecker, Mrs. Devitt, Mr. and Mrs. Treefry, Dr. and Mrs. Strom, Christoph, and so many more. And let's not forget Father Fred. He had a huge impact on my faith and made me a strong Christian. I stepped up for training every chance I was given with Mr. and Mrs. Cave and Mr. Dave for acolyting so that I could grow my connection with God and with this church. In my middle school years, I attended Friday morning Bible study every week, and I loved every minute of those early mornings. I think it speaks huge volumes when teenagers want to get up that early and are excited to attend and share their faith with all their friends. We're so blessed that we had such amazing women that devoted their Friday mornings to us. And they made delicious food. And that's the key to my heart. And amazing fellowship. You can't ask for much more. I have such an astonishing amount of love and respect for the women I spent these mornings with. They really are memories to cherish forever. It was during this time I also made my confirmation and took on my faith as my own, with my sponsor, Mrs. Bodecker, a woman that's the epitome of what my faith to be. It was in middle school when I really started to get to know Father Wilson. He was inspirational to me, how he could take the gospel messages and make them entertaining with cool references to music and jokes. He has such an amazing gift with his words and his demeanor. He has been a constant light in my life, especially when days seemed a little dark. I have no idea just how dark days could get until my freshman year of high school. Something was going on with my vision, and Dr. Strom was the first physician I went to see. He treated me with such grace, and he knew something was incredibly wrong during my eye exam. He set me up with a retinal specialist, and the very next day I was diagnosed with Stargardt's disease, which is a form of childhood macular degeneration. That's why I'm using my laptop, because I can't see a paper. Not really the news you want to hear as a 14-year-old going into high school, but this church really helped me get through it. My mom immediately reached out to the church for support, and I was added to the prayer list by Patty Sullivan. Father Chris anointed me, and Miss Jackie Overton even took me out for ice cream dates. Every single person checked on me. So many texts and phone calls with prayers and encouragement from friends. The love and support of this community was exactly what I needed. Instead of staying in that darkness, I grabbed a hold of my faith with both of my hands and decided I was going to dive deeper into my relationship with God. I've learned so much about myself in these past 3 years by being involved in youth group, going on mission trips, serving as an acolyte in Thurfer, and simply spending time in the beautiful community and service of God. I'm taking my faith and going to UCF next year, and I'm going to study molecular biology, and I'm going to minor in creative writing, and hopefully get my MD or PhD in genetics. I believe strongly that God gave me this disease to give me a purpose and help others, just as many of you have done for me. So thank you to each and every one of you. I'm going to close out with my favorite Bible passage, which is, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, which is Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. So, thank you.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sonia Legare, and I have attended Redeemer for my entire life. Growing up in such a nurturing church has truly been one of the best parts of my childhood. From a young age, I was immersed in a community that taught me the values of unconditional love, compassion, and service. The mentors that I gained through the church have played an indispensable role in molding the person that I am today. I owe an endless debt of gratitude to them and will always remember the tireless guidance, support, and inspiration they have provided me with on my spiritual journey. Redeemer has blessed me with some of my very best friends over the years. Together, we have celebrated our wins and provided the support we need to power through losses. This church has given us a second home and somewhere we can, have, and will continue to turn in the years to come. Throughout my childhood, I have been presented with mentors who are not just leaders, but true role models who exemplified the teachings of Christ in their daily lives. They instilled in me a strong moral compass, taught me the importance of kindness, and encouraged me to ask questions and seek understanding in my faith. My confirmation sponsor, Mrs. Strom, did an amazing job providing me with the support I needed to confirm my faith and has continued to play a pivotal role in my life. I'd also like to acknowledge the hard work of Jackie Overton and all the Sunday school teachers, priests, acolyte mentors, and Bible study leaders that have helped me deepen my connection to God. You were the pillars of strength that helped me navigate the complexities of life and faith, and for that, I am forever grateful. Some of my fondest memories growing up have been made on Redeemer mission trips. Through these trips, I've had the opportunity to step outside of my comfort zone and immerse myself in communities that develop my sense of empathy and understanding of the world around me. While they have all made profound impacts on me, I can confidently say that the memories I have from our 2 trips to the Dominican Republic are unmatched by any others. My experiences taught me new ways to look for Christ in my daily life and changed the way I approach service. They also left many of us with warped immune systems and chronic stomach issues, but I like to think of that as our way of bringing little pieces of the DR home with us. More importantly, we were able to extend Redeemer's community and form lasting relationships with people who have just as much to give to us as we to them. I don't think I've ever been more excited than when Jackie handed me a phone and I ended up getting to talk to Adiel, who's one of the little kids in the DR, happens to be my unofficial favorite, and we got to talk on our shared birthday during the school year. It's memories like these that have lasted with me on my faith journey and encouraged me to jump at any possible opportunity to serve through Christ in other communities. The Episcopal Church taught me that faith is more than just my personal connection with God. It's about forming a community that supports one another and serves those in need to work for a more compassionate world. The mission trips, service days, and endless outreach opportunities the church provided me with became a catalyst for my desire to continue engaging in service and outreach in my daily life. I'm looking forward to furthering the passion this church has instilled in me throughout college next year as I study criminology at the University of Florida, and am eternally grateful for the role this community has played in shaping me into the person I am today. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Olivia Seidensticker, and I will be graduating from the Outdoor Academy later this month. I've been coming to Redeemer for as long as I can remember. My first notable interaction here was coming on a VBS Sunday, sitting in the back with my mom, and then being greeted by Miss Devitt with a smiling face and a tie-dye t-shirt. Little did I know that from the second that I stepped through the red doors, I instantly multiplied my family. The Redeemer bumper sticker that can be seen at least 1,000 times on US 41 a day, that says "Take your place," is a slogan that holds so much meaning. Not only have I found my home with the community, but also with the Lord. Growing up in the church has allowed me to find fellowship, faith, and strength. No matter what the circumstances, good or bad, I know that God and the Redeemer is there with me every step of the way. I'm privileged to have received my strength not only from him, but also from this congregation, whether silent or outspoken. My father passed away in 2018 from cancer, and while he himself was not a member of the Redeemer, The amount of love, kindness, and hope that was sent my family's way was palpable. I truly feel that without this community, my personal strength found through God would not be as strong as it is today. My days are spent with joy, stemming from gratitude of all the gifts that the Lord has provided me. I know that this next season of change holds a lot of uncertainty, but I know and I'm confident that the Lord will never lead me astray. I'm excited to continue my academic career at Wake Forest University, where I plan on studying business and art history. I again cannot thank the Redeemer enough for the enriching, thoughtful, and joyous community that it is, and the church will be one of the hardest things that I have to leave behind when I go to college in the fall.
Good morning, church family. My name is Esmée Dieckman, and you 9 o'clockers have probably seen me running around up at the altar as an acolyte, but in fact, I've been running around this church since I was just able to walk. As a regular acolyte, you would be surprised about how many secrets I could tell you that run up here as well. It has been my blessing to have been raised by amazing parents who have trust in Christ to be their strength and shield. They have started me on this same path, and they have assisted me into continuing to grow throughout my faith throughout the past 17, almost 18 years now. This, though, would have been impossible without this church family. With our blood families across the Atlantic and Europe, this church has supported my family by being our faith family, and by extension, you have, with open arms, supported me into growing into the person I am today. Through my experiences with everyone involved, with VBS, EYC, Friday morning Bible study, acolyting, playing the violin at Christmas, and mission trips, I know I can always find comfort in a family here at church. I will always remember listening to Father Fred's sermons or finding support in the many activities and opportunities Church of the Redeemer has given me. Some speakers speak about a conversion moment or a big transformative point in their faith path. My path with Christ has not included a conversion moment, but Christ has always just been present and guiding, and Redeemer has helped me keep to this narrow path. Not to say that this path hasn't had some big doubts along the way, especially in middle school. There were definitely some big doubts during this time of doubt. I found praying to be the hardest, like hitting a brick wall, until I heard Father Fred's, and I would say almost famous, golden telephone sermon. The sermon was about no matter where we are or what position we are in, prayer is not only free, but always available. No golden 24-karat telephone required, which till this day still deeply resonates with me, and I will take this pearl of knowledge with me wherever I go. My favorite activities at church have been tie-dye with Miss Devitt, EYC every Sunday evening, and mission trips with Jackie. She told us not to mention her, but I truly don't think she understands the impact she has had on our high school lives. Through Jackie's efforts, we have been able to visit the DR twice, where I was able to share my God-given talent of dancing with all the little girls, or my niñas, in daily dance classes. They have also given me the crazy nickname of Muñeco de Barbie, or AKA Barbie. I have to say I do miss those girls, but on this trip, I also found out how much I love my AC. On the first trip to the DR, I followed Jackie's recommendation of a personal fan a little too literally, as when we arrived, everyone immediately started to take out their fans the size of a large laptop. Well, I started to internally freak out as I took out my small but mighty fan the size of a flip phone. I don't know how, but as you can see, I clearly survived the trip, and when we started making up our packing list for the second year traveling to the DR, having a good-sized fan was definitely high on my priority list, to say the least. Except when we arrived this time, I quite quickly realized that I brought the wrong size batteries with my ginormous fan. Luckily, the plug worked till we had a blackout, and my handy-dandy flip phone size fan came to the rescue. My favorite Bible story is the parable of the mustard seed. I'm sure you are all familiar with this story, and I have found my experiences with the people in the DR relatable to that story. The experiences are like the mustard seeds that have found themselves planted in me, supporting my faith in God, and many of you that I have met or worked alongside with this church have also left a mustard seed in my soul. I feel as that I'm prepared as I can be to go on my next adventure, college. This church's support and leadership recognition has equipped me with leadership skills and a moral compass and faith. Choosing my college was messy at first, with numerous colleges and application deadlines planned out. However, divine guidance revealed the clear choice and guideposts placed by the Holy Spirit, as I'm excited to attend the University of Utah to double major in history and ballet within the honors program, and every step in this college application process has magically worked out thanks to God's handiwork. While far away, I'm excited to start a new chapter of my life and excited to find and join a church and youth groups on campus. I will always compare Church of the Redeemer with other churches, as it's definitely a high standard to match. Redeemer will always and forever be my church home and my Jerusalem. Alongside my parents, my brother, and my friends, my church family has had the biggest impact on my life. Thank you.
Morning, Redeemer families. I could have sworn Father Charleston kept some snacks up here. Don't worry though, I have some in my pocket. Anyways, I'm here to tell you about my faith story, which isn't the longest, but it's nonetheless important to me. Surprising as it may be, I came here not initially believing the Word of God. But, like the stained window over there says, I was a stranger and you took me in. I really started believing during the global shutdown, and since I saw how everyone tuned into the online services, showing that, you really care about the Word of God. Reminding me that seeing isn't believing, but rather believing is seeing. That just made something click for me. Started to enjoy serving in the church, serving like John 1:5, the light shining in darkness that the darkness can't comprehend. From that enjoyment came me carrying the cross as high as I can, and even getting to the privilege of serving at the altar as well, a server. I intend to continue carrying the love of God into the United States Coast Guard. Thanks for listening to my yapping.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Believe it, that's not my entire speech. Actually, I have a speech written right here, and I'm going to read it to all of you. So my name's Andrew White, and I got to say at the very beginning that I'm sorry about my voice. I was at prom last night, and I partied a little too hard, so I sound really hoarse this morning, but I assure you I'm perfectly fine to give this speech. So the speech is the story of my faith and my relationship with both God and the church. So the story of my faith is a tumultuous one. Quite goofy if I do say so myself. In all seriousness though, if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in my faith journey, at least with the beginning of it. The thing is that I didn't really like church, growing up. I viewed it in the same vein as school. It was just something long and boring that I had to sit through so I could get on with the rest of my day. And the worst ones were on the holidays, especially Christmas. I remember Christmas 2015, the year Star Wars The Force Awakens came out. I saw it with my dad the day that it came out, and I had an absolute blast. I was 9 years old. And Christmas morning came, and I started off the day by opening up my presents with my mom, and lo and behold, jolly old St. Nicholas had bestowed upon me the highly coveted Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon. For 9-year-old me, this was my holy grail. It was the coolest thing I'd ever gotten in my entire life. I couldn't wait to build it. However, there was one thing standing in the way. The 11 o'clock service. I threw a fit about going. I threw a gigantic fit, but nevertheless, my mom persisted and I went. That was the longest hour and a half of my entire life. I'm not even kidding, dude. But I look back at that day with mixed feelings because yes, when I did eventually get to build that Millennium Falcon, it was awesome. But in my head, when I go back and think about that Christmas, I'll tell you what I think about, and it ain't the Millennium Falcon. I regret how I acted on that day. Not only just that day, but just how I viewed church as a whole in my, youth. Like, I know I was a stupid kid, but I think that even a stupid kid shouldn't be acting like that, So, as time went on, though, my view of church began to change. And around age 15 or 16, I found it to be quite different than how I viewed it when I was younger. I found it to be, really calming, and it's a place where I could find, solitude with myself. And I began to attend it more. So, I would even go by myself sometimes without my family. And around that same age, maybe a little bit later, I found a deep fascination with the Bible and the stories that it held. So not only did I read the entire book all the way through, but I also began reading extra-canonical pieces of biblical literature, such as Milton's Paradise Lost and Regained, Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, and the Dead Sea Scrolls. So all of this really helped to put not just my relationship with the church into perspective, but my life as a whole. And as I prepare to move out and go off to college, I feel really strong and passionate about my faith. I'm more faithful now than I've ever been, and I can't wait to see where the church takes me in the future. Thank you.
For those of you that do not know me, my name is Jackie Overton, and Mother's Day will mark the 21st anniversary of my Youth Sunday speech. So I am not one of our youth. I am the Director of Youth and Outreach Ministries here at Church of the Redeemer, and Father Charleston graciously asked me to say a few words today. Youth ministry comes with a lot of stereotypes. While some of them may be true, we do consume an incredible amount of pizza. We have been known to make our fair share of messes, and we may or may not have broken a couple of cabinets along the way. There are also some statistics about youth and youth ministry. One that sticks out to me the most was that in 2022, it was reported that the average youth minister lasted 18 months in full-time ministry. This August, I will be entering into year 17 of ministry with young people, and my time here at Church of the Redeemer will be double the national average of tenure from my counterparts. It's not because I have a magical superpower, and it's not because the work has been easy. It's because I fear that those overly zealous, well-intended, new youth ministers are missing the point. The commandment that Jesus gave us in today's gospel. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Jesus didn't just tell us with his words to love each other. He came to earth to model how to do so. The gospel reading today is powerful, but it is also relevant to what and to who we are celebrating today, the youth of Redeemer. My motto for ministry is simple, one that I hope our young people will be able to repeat. Love God, love others, and show up. And our young people do just that. They confess their faith, they love and serve others with dignity, and they show up. These young people's lives are as deeply woven into the fabric of the church as any adult. They are active, participating in youth group and mission trips. They bring friends along for fun outings, but also take part in Bible study, service activities, helping wherever they are needed. They serve on the altar, they sing in the choir, they volunteer to pray and to teach in children's chapel, and they model for their younger peers Christ's love every summer at Vacation Bible School. These young people's faith and their commitment to God has been formed and nourished at Church of the Redeemer. From Sunday school to confirmation class to youth group, to their everyday interactions with all of you. We as a community have worked diligently to model for them how to love each other, and in turn, how to open up their lives to the love of God. Working with young people is a lot like dropping stones in the middle of a lake. Each time we drop a stone, it creates a ripple effect. Over time, those ripples reach the shore and slowly transform the nature of the coast. Young people today are faced with very distinct challenges from what we faced in our youth. They are exposed to information at breakneck speed. They deal with the harsh realities of a fast-paced, demanding lifestyle. They are asked to create a career path before they hit puberty, and they are working to build resumes and CVs before they even enter into high school. Our job as the faith community is to drop positive stones into their lives, tools that they will use to change the world for the better as they grow up, form families, and become part of their own faith communities. We work hard to instill values and to share God's love, and to model how to serve others, all with the hope that the ripples will reach the shore and make an impact. We don't always get to see the impact of our labor, but the work we've done dropping rocks and modeling Christ's love changes and impacts the world. I am grateful for the opportunity to work with these young people and to create ripples in their lives. They are talented and caring and kind. They embody Christ's love and follow his model of loving one another. But successful youth ministry doesn't happen in a vacuum. Youth ministry programs that tend to fail are the ones where the leader becomes the center of the ministry and not Jesus. Successful youth ministry, one that produces young adults who leave their home churches prepared to face the challenges of adulthood, exists because entire faith communities rally around them. They leave home knowing that they are seen, they are known, and they are loved by their Creator. They also know that wherever they go, they take with them the prayers of faithful adults who have watched them grow and who welcome them back home anytime they make the trip. I am grateful that Church of the Redeemer has not only made a commitment to supporting a youth ministry program, but has also welcomed young people into active and vibrant ministry and community. I am thankful for all of you who share with our youth to help create the ripples that will change the world. It is an honor to work alongside you in God's vineyard and to share the joy of watching our young people go out and bear fruit, fruit that I know will last because the example Jesus set for us to love one another has been modeled so beautifully by all of you. To the young people here present today, with the fear of this sounding way too much like a commencement speech, people are going to tell you that when you grow up, you're going to change the world and the church. That's a lie. The ripples of the stones you have thrown have already reached barrios in the Dominican Republic. They've reached those living without homes on the streets of Nashville and in New Orleans. They've reached the Kiowa Pueblo in New Mexico and the edges of the Grand Canyon. You've shown up for those in the hospital, you've fed the hungry, and your prayers have entered into the home of children in foster care. Your stories and examples have set an example as a model of Jesus' love, and I marvel at all of the change you have already enacted. And I personally am eternally grateful that my children are growing up in a world where you all will be in charge. Keep loving God, keep teaching us how to love others, and keep showing up. Thank you for being just who God created you to be, and of course, for the job security.